Yes, I've got a question here from Lee Rickler. I thought I'd do a sat by the window because this may be one of the only days of sunshine that we get this year, perhaps. So, let's just make hay while the sun shines. Anyway, so Lee says, we live in a cold, damp country, and because of this, many people suffer related illnesses. Yeah, without a doubt, that's true. What steps can be taken to reduce the effects of, for example, arthritis? Right, well, that's a really, really good question. It, it is a case, unfortunately, where you've got in the UK, it's correlation versus causation. But I think what you've got to start with is look at. There's actually two types really that we look at, that we're concerned of arthritis. You've got osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. So I'll start with rheumatoid arthritis. What that means, that's essentially an autoimmune disease. It's where the body doesn't produce or attacks parts of its synovial fluid. That's the fluid between the joints of the bones. I've actually got that. If you look at my two wrists there, you will see that my right wrist here is smaller than my left wrist. That's something I was born with, and it's something that's always happened. And no matter what type of training I've had, given it weight training and given all sorts of hormones and things like that, that doesn't work. And I can't bend that wrist anymore, whereas I can bend that one loads. Nothing I can do about it. And that's a systemic autoimmune disease. Can't do anything about that. Vast majority of cases, what we're talking about is osteoarthritis. That's a degenerative condition where the fluid starts to break down over time due to certain substances. Maybe other parts of the body are robbing some of that fluid away that's in the joints. Maybe some of the bone is wearing away for various reasons. There's no cure as such for the arthritis. Really, what we're looking at here is treating the symptoms. Unfortunately, there is no answer, and nobody can give you an answer at this point. It tends to be environment, and living in the UK, it doesn't make it quite so straightforward. There's no one cure for this. What we've got to look at doing is stacking the odds in our favour, essentially. So let's look at, for example, take a dietary thing. From a dietary point of view, with respect to that, we've got, let's say you eat a lot of dairy foods. Now, those things tend to be quite acidic. What they do is, yes, they contain calcium, which is fantastic. However, it's quite acidic when you look at the proteins in these foods. So if you eat a lot of cheese and milk and etc., what happens is for the body to neutralize those acids, it has to use an alkaline or a base, because the body always wants to be in homeostasis. So the only way it can do that is it has to take calcium from the bones. And why it takes calcium from the bones is because the only base it can use is calcium phosphate, which is what bones are made up of. So it uses the phosphate to neutralize the calcium and the strong amino acids in that protein in a dairy food, and then the calcium gets peed away. So you end up with this degeneration. And that's the same process and mechanism at play in osteoarthritis as is in osteoporosis. So that's quite important. So I'd look at removing those foods if you suffer from arthritis. And you probably find within quite a short period of time, 2 to 3 weeks, actually it disappears. And I've worked with a lot of people where that's happened. The other one as well, apart from the dietary side, which dairy is the big one, the other one is weight control. I know it's difficult in the UK, but weight control is a big one. It makes a huge amount of difference. If you look at reducing your body weight by 5 or 10%, and if you to do the physics and you work out the moments and couples on the joints, it's a huge difference. It really does make a big difference. So if you were to remove dairy and to just reduce your weight by even a few percentages, it makes a big difference. Lee, I hope that answers your question. It's not a particularly easy one to answer extremely objectively, but hopefully that is helpful. Thanks.